Hello, everyone. This is Memphis Mark coming to you from Mullet Manor, and we've got our half of our full crew with us. We got Rocky with us, and we got Maintenance Maverick.
Woo-woo.
And we're going to do a review for 7:15 on Collision. Now, Rocky, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm sorry I missed the last couple of weeks, but, life took over, schedules took over, and we knew it was expected to come, and, that's why we have this four-man crew with you yourself and Maverick and Michael, and whatever combination's available is the one you're going to get. And as you know, or, you guys know, but whoever's listening, we are still trying to recruit guys to fill in the blanks sometimes whenever somebody's not available. So for everybody who's listening, if you, want to reach out, want to have your voice heard, you can also reach out to me on Twitter at Rocky's Club 007, and that's my dedicated social media for all things wrestling. How you doing, Maverick? What's going on over there in the UK?
Not too bad. Work's been picking up a little bit lately, but you know what? That's just how it is over here. But I also wanted to touch on, we're also still recruiting for somebody to take over the show completely. I also wanted to give a little bit of insight to the listeners here. I just started off as a listener myself. I just kind of wrote into Memphis Mark a little bit when he was starting off with his show and just giving him some feedback and critique. And he really appreciated it. We just became friends off of it. So if you guys want to be a part of this, just reach out to any of us. We're all open to the DMs and everything. Come on, hit us. We're not going to bite you, man.
Tell them how to reach you. What's your handle again on Twitter?
Yeah, my handle on Twitter currently is Maintenance Mav. Anybody, go ahead, hit me up. Let me know if I'm doing anything wrong in the show or if you think you could do better. Come on over. Take my place, man.
There you go. There you go. All right, guys. Well, we might as well get into the show. And they start off with, it's a reoccurring theme. They start off with the promos for the matches upcoming for that night. So you had, for the Owen Hart tournament, you had a little bit of everybody on here. And me and Mav have been saying it the past few weeks, Rocky, that we kind of like the kind of old school feel the way they started off. What do you think about that?
You know what? I'm loving it too. Like you said, this Collision show, these extra 2-hour slots that they're giving us every Saturday is a platform for these guys who are not getting the TV time during the week on Rampage or Dynamite to really showcase their promo skills along with their in-ring skills. So I really like the old school feel. And, here we do have the full review for you guys here on the WWE podcast. And AEW is wrapping up their Canadian tour with a big show from Calgary Stampede Saddle Dome in Owen Hart's hometown of Calgary, Alberta. So, I'm really loving it. The first choice of the match, honestly, for as long as it went, and for the battle that FTR and Bullet Club Gold went through, they should have been on the Battle of the Belts portion of this broadcast. But they decided to start off with them, 2 out of 3 falls, and let's dive into it. Mav, what's your first thoughts of the first fall, anyways?
All right. So honestly, the first fall, everything was very well orchestrated. The whole match itself, I absolutely loved it. Just going all the way through, I'm really just enjoying seeing these two teams go back and forth. The crowd is absolutely eating it up every single match that these guys have. And I'm really also enjoying seeing some of these homages to Bret Hart and Owen Hart and just the Hart family in general. Beginning of this match, it started off with kind of like a swing first, square off. Everybody's just in the ring, getting up face to face. I kind of like that. It's a little bit of old school. Something that we don't really see as often today. Usually it's just somebody comes running at whoever in the beginning. It's not as, I'm not sure how to put this, formal, I guess. Just everybody step up and, wanting to do what they need to do. Mark, what did you think?
Well, if you're going to do 8 freaking minutes of a 2-hour show, Rocky, I kind of agree. Maybe they should have just put it on Battle of the Belts and just had 2 matches. That's it, just 2 matches. But man, if you're going to go into an old school kind of feel, an old school vibe, get the crowd involved. I mean, FTR comes out kind of fast and kind of out of pace for them. And then you've got, Juice and Sling Blade kind of hanging back. It's just, I kind of like it. And I was fans before these last 2 weeks, but after these last 2 weeks, I'm a follower and a fan. That's Rocky. I don't know another way to put it. I mean, the match. We can both sit here and probably go through each round, each thing, and everything that we saw. I mean, it was freaking fantastic, buddy.
And you know what? With the full AEW Collision show, that's pretty much what we're going to do. So, with that being said, I did hear this stat. The stat tells us that FTR is 6-2 in 2 out of 3 falls matches. I don't know if that's completely accurate, but that's what I heard. I think from the announce team. But there's this first fall, a lot of hard chops to Dax. Juice was selling those chops like it killed him, man. He was selling, he was working, just incredible stuff. A lot happened before the first fall. Fast-paced action. There was brawling, technical mastery. Jay White even got in on the chop action, going ham on Dax, and I could see Dax clearly getting upset as at some point he stopped selling the chops and started to give some of his own, back to White. There was multiple near falls, but sneak tag comes from Cash with the attempt of the Shatter Machine, but no dice. Jay White counters, Blade Runner 1, 2, 3. So, like you said, just good way to start it.
Absolutely. Maverick, what did you see? On this? Wait a minute, before you do say something, what did you think about the freaking cowboy hats? Look, as a person that wears a cowboy hat occasionally, I was kind of offended. That was a lot. And the announcer having the cowboy hat. I'm sorry, I just had to say that. Please, Maverick, go ahead.
So seeing the announcer wearing it, at first I thought, is this guy trying to be the new JR or something? Is he trying to imitate him a little bit? And then I realized it's Stampede. They've got the rodeo going on and everything. I'm like, okay, everybody's going with the theme and all that, but right. I don't know. I guess there is, country and rural areas out in Canada. I never really thought about it that they, would have farmland and everything as well. It's just not something that ever crossed my mind. But yeah, it's not something I really expected about, to see at a wrestling show. Everybody's wearing a cowboy hat up in Canada. I don't know. It just never would have clicked in my head before this. But, so this match, there's one point that Cash hit a Hurricane Rana, and then shortly after, Dax hit a springboard crossbody. This kind of made me question, is this a possible slight tribute to Owen Hart? Because I know he was considered more to be a high flyer during his era. And they also gave a quick tribute to the Briscoes hitting, I believe it was their tag team finisher as well. And I just really loved this match through and through. It felt well orchestrated, well timed. Like you guys were saying about this match could have been on Battle of the Belts. I think the Battle of the Belts only went for an hour, so it would have just took up the whole thing. Would have been the battle for the tag team belts at that point, man.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Rocky.
No, I was just agreeing with Maverick, but now we're into the second fall. You had some offense from FTR, but then Golden Club, they took control again. They spent quite a bit of time working over Wheeler, just hitting senton sleepers, big boots, DDT outside on the floor. It was kind of interesting that Juice tried to get a count-out victory, and I heard the commentary team talking about it. And do you guys think that would that count as a victory? I mean, in a 2 out of 3 fall match, because no one's there. I've never seen anybody do that concept before, like actually trying to actively get a count out during a 2 out of 3 falls match. So that's something that I would like to read the contract on, if that's even possible.
I have seen that before, though.
You have?
Yes, the Funks versus, I believe it was Jackie Fargo, and I can't think, but anyway, it was a 2 out of 3. I guess they wanted to cut the thing short eventually, but the guy won 2 falls, and the second fall was by count out.
Yeah, well, that's cool. I would have never known, but thanks to your knowledge now I do. But Dax finally gets a hot tag, runs wild for a bit, hits some big moves. We get the "This is awesome" chants going on. I believe at this point we're about 35, 40 minutes into the match, and I'm starting to think that fall 3 is going to be pretty quick, because we have seen some 2 or 3 fall matches where the second fall happens and then within a few minutes the third fall is done, because the guys are just gassed or for whatever reason. And then the FTR tribute to Jay Briscoe with the Redneck Boogie. They only got the 2 count. And then, got a couple jukes and jabs, and then Shatter Machine, they finally get it on Juice, and 1, 2, 3. Matt, what did you see there in the second fall?
Well, in the second fall, the match itself, watching over it, I was just enthralled with how well that it was going. Everybody was flowing very well. I kind of saw that these tag teams, they have learned each other at this point. And they're kind of giving that sort of ring psychology feel that is going on. Like, okay, I know that they're going to set up for this, and then somebody's going to duck out of it real quick because they've gone at each other so many times now. They already know each other's movesets. They know how, let's say Dax wants to set up a hot tag or something. You could kind of tell they're setting each other up, but then, say Jay White in the other corner, he would know how to counteract it at this point. I saw it was starting to happen more after the first fall had happened. Mark, what were you noticing?
Man, the second fall was just, it was as good as the first. But I will say, different strategy. And I don't know, guys, it's almost like they sit down before this match and went, because now you can bet on these outcomes and stuff. Everybody's doing this betting. And it's almost like they sit down and went, all right, everybody's going to expect this, this, and this. So we'll give them this and we'll kick out of, you know what I mean? It's kind of like the chess pieces that we've been playing with for years, just in this match, and they changed the board. Not to, you know what I mean? And we were used to it this way, and they did it this way. So, which makes some, like some old timers like us that's been watching a while, you keep expecting. Here it comes. It's right. Okay. Well, wow. Okay. So they did. So it's going to end right. You know what I mean? And that's what I think they were supposed to do. Rocky. Well, I mean, that's what, how about you?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you there. And as we're flowing into the third fall, a lot of outside ring bumps. I noticed that these guys, and like I said, we're past the 45-minute mark here, and I'm just kind of in awe of these guys. I always knew FTR was a good tag team. I liked them back when they were in WWE. The first time I saw Jay White, I heard the name, and then I saw him debut, and just off the look of him, I knew he was going to be good. Juice, I was interested because he has a unique look, and then I started to see his, week by week. I'm like, okay. Like I thought, honestly, he looks like a tough jobber. But now that I've seen his work, like I'm starting to get behind this guy. Like I believe him. So all the bumps on the outside, and then the cool moment with the standoff in the middle of the ring. You got the audience clapping, showing respect to these 4 competitors. And again, with Jay White, just the way he trash talks when he locked in the sharpshooter and was posing, flexing, and the way the crowd reacted, like. He's a natural heel. I don't know if he's ever been a face before in Japan. I don't know if I could ever see him as a face, but honestly, I would have liked to see him in WWE. But if this is what it takes for him to come to AEW and then to jump ship, for they can believe that he's a top guy, then I guess that's what we're gonna have to take. He reminds me a lot of Adam Cole from the first time I saw Adam Cole and NXT. I'd never heard the name before. I'd never seen him work before. He debuted with Undisputed, and immediately I knew that this guy's got it. He's got something. So, this hour-plus match, of course, FTR takes it. But just the time that these guys got, if you didn't know the name Jay White or Juice Robinson before, you do now. Like, you really do, especially after the showing.
What about his voice? Guys, what Juice's voice? is it not as distinctive as almost anybody when you hear him in the ring, you know who that is.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of like Damian Priest's voice. You know.
Very good. Yeah. I like that. Well, I mean, we look, we got the end of the third round, man. I mean, it is a no disappoint match. I mean, I don't know we can sit here and blow smoke up there all we want, but, man, it was just good. And Rock, like you said, man, it's getting these guys time that aren't getting that, you got a diamond, and you can't even show it off. You know what I mean? So, I'm kind of agreeing with the whole Collision deal, cause it is getting a chance to showcase. I mean, at least on my end.
Real quick, how often do they do Battle of the Belts? Do either one of you know?
Yeah, I'm not sure that actually.
You have that answer, maybe?
I do not, but I mean, how long has the company been around? And they're already up to 7, so it's got to be a couple times a year at this point.
So, well, what I'm getting at is that let's just first say they did this once a month. Then once a month, we have a 3-hour AEW Saturday night instead of a 2-hour show. So that gives that's basically a pay-per-view.
Yeah. And they
for free.
For free, exactly.
Oh yeah, that's a man. We're actually,
and they're all basically championship matches, especially Collision, and then of course on Battle of the Belts. But yeah, for free championship matches. Like I said, I have to look into it and see how often they do it, because you're right, they're up to 7 now, and
that was a good number on that one. That good one. A good one,
right?
And
I do have a couple of things real quick just to mention. Yeah, I do believe that Jay White in Japan, the first time that I saw him was Wrestle Kingdom. Can't remember which number. I can't remember who he was facing, but I remember I was sitting with the Gardner, Michael Gross. We were chilling out watching it, and I remember as Jay White came out, I remember thinking, this guy looks like he could be something. And then he had a couple of good moves, and I was thinking, okay, he's being kind of impressive. And then the match really just doled out. And I remember I made the joke, he seems kind of like when you pick up a video game for wrestling and you do create a character, but you didn't look at the moveset, and now it's like he's got a couple of cool things about him, but he's kind of plain right now. He's really evolved, and I've really come to enjoy him. I believe at the time he was even clean shaven, and yeah, he didn't seem like he was a heel at all. And then I believe after Wrestle Kingdom, he went on and faced Kenny Omega, which was interesting as ever. But yeah, so in the match itself, did you guys see about AEW's rule changes that had just came up about like chair shots and everything?
No, I did not.
Yeah, let him know.
Yeah, so AEW just implemented a lot of, I believe it's more health and safety at this point, because they don't want any unprotected chair shots, I think they said no pile drivers of any sort that go straight to the head type of thing. What was it? No hitting down on the floor without any sort of padding type of stuff. And, yeah, seeing those rule changes as I was watching this match, I noticed, I feel like they're kind of breaking some of these new rules that just got put in place. Did they make these rules happen? Or did they write out in the script just for this to happen?
Wait, is the no head drops only on chairs or all things padding?
I think it's, just pile drivers in general at this point, because there's some, like a tombstone style pile driver, I believe, is what they're trying to go against here right now. I can show you the screenshot later of all the rules they put in.
AEW does a lot of poison runners. They're gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And one of them was I've noticed they've spit on each other the past few months here, and on one of the rule changes was no saliva. So no, none of that. And when at the end of it, when Juice and them were walking out, they spit on the ring instead of, and I'm wondering how that might have changed if those rules hadn't come out this past week, because they'd been getting real brazen on how they do something. So, that would have been interesting to see. Rocky, you got anything else?
No, let's wrap it up and move on.
All right. Man, they're doing a little promo on the Blood and Guts, up next with the Elite and BCC. That looks like that might be pretty good. That looks like I haven't seen one. I've seen a couple of little clips. Either one of y'all have y'all seen any of these matches?
I've been watching the YouTube clips of this over the last few weeks of the storyline developing. Just feels like all the other ones, basically. You got two groups. Yeah. We know it's going to be hard hitting. We know there's going to be blood. There's going to be a lot of people really getting messed up. To quote Mark Henry's theme song, somebody's going to get their kicked. So, it's going to be good. I love all these guys. I do. I have respect for all these guys on both sides. The Japanese wrestlers on the BBC side, I've been learning about because of AEW. And, that's one thing I always really, really hated about WWE that I always really, really liked about WCW or TNA and now AEW is that they have the open door policy to work with Japan and bring in these wrestlers that I would have never have seen before or known of. It's very hard to find any full-length matches of things from Wrestle Kingdom or anything overseas. So at least for me, or maybe I haven't tried hard enough. But again, these guys are going to just tear the house down. Or I really like the idea of the two rings and the cage, but it reminds me of War Games. So
yeah, that take off.
Matt, what you got on it?
So, yeah, it is kind of just War Games in a way, but I mean, I believe WCW did the same thing years and years ago. NWA, I believe, even had it at some point, have a War Games style match. So it doesn't really bother me to see it used elsewhere because, I mean, it's not like they're the first ones to do ladder matches or cage matches either. It's common practice at this point. You're going to do these kind of matches because crowd wants to see it. It's become popular. But yeah, just seeing the build up, I'm excited to see this. Kota Ibushi, I'm glad to be seeing working with AEW because I know that it is a dream match between him and CM Punk. They want to go at each other because I believe they both use the same finisher, the go to sleep, but they both claim that they invented it, which is kind of funny. I want to see them in the future, maybe at Forbidden Door or something in a couple of years, finally be able to have that match. It's a dream match to an extent,
Oh, that's good. I like that. But women, good little promo teasing us with that. But they go into Ruby Soho and Miss Nightingale.
Yeah. I'll take this one first. We got the finals of the Owen Hart tournament. The women's side, anyways. Ruby Soho found her way back into this one. The weight difference really showed in the beginning of the match. Ruby started just having trouble doing basic stuff like arm drags and basic maneuvers. She does start coming back though, brawling. But for me, this match felt really short for a final of an Owen Hart tournament or any tournament or any final or anything like that. This match just felt short or just felt too short for me. The way the finish of the match, it was disappointing to me. The distraction with the spray paint could have been so much better. I don't know. Ruby hits her finish and then Willow doesn't sell it. And then we had a false finish kick out. It was very weak, the kick out. And yeah, this match left a very sour taste in my mouth. What about you, Mark?
Well, that kick out, you mentioned it, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't the only one that noticed that.
Yeah.
No sell and the kick out. I mean, that pretty much, describes it. Yeah, bad taste, I would say. Well, and then again, though, and I don't want to be too judgmental because we just saw a 58-minute stunner of a match, and then we kind of get this. So I'm not going to trash on them. I'm not going to trash. I did like the fact that when Soho was trying to do those arm drags like you spoke of, that worked. It just worked because you knew that she shouldn't be able to do that. And
yeah.
So
I like the realism of that, but it just wasn't enough drama in the match. Like,
yeah,
it's a final, and you're in the country that this tournament of, for Owen Hart. This is his country, his hometown. Like, I expected more from that match. That's all. What about you, Matt?
yeah.
So watching the match, the one thing that I really loved was just the little bit of lie, cheat, and steal Eddie Guerrero sort of thing that went on with the spray paint, how Ruby threw it into Willow's hand and the ref turns around at that second to see it. God, I love seeing that anytime that it happens.
I like the idea of it, but I don't know, something wasn't executed enough. I don't know if it was Willow's expression or the referee's expression or even Ruby's, reaction to it. It just didn't work for me. Did it really work for you? Like, I know the concept of it being Eddie Guerrero's, fingertips on it, but did you really like how it was executed?
I'm not sure what it was, but it didn't feel right. And it almost felt like Ruby was laughing as soon as the ref turned around. And that just made it feel like it wasn't real at that moment.
I think maybe if Ruby would have actually sprayed herself to show that there was something, then maybe that would have worked. But no, I don't know. It wasn't enough for me.
Yeah. As I said, behind that big stellar match and to get that, but we did get to see Tony Khan in a cowboy hat and his best Howdy Doody imitation.
When I saw that, all I could think was that this guy's image, smiling the way he was smiling, all cheesy, with the cowboy hat, is going to be on the internet forever. It's going to be viral. Like, oh my God,
Oh, can't you see some of the memes and some of the stuff that's probably already been done? Oh.
Oh man, we got JBL from Wish at home.
Oh man. Okay. I had to bring up the hat. I'm sorry. We go into Q. All right. Okay. Here we go. We go into QT and Hobbs into their little, as the world turns, and they're trying to get everything on the same page. And they're setting up an angle. Maverick, what did you see in that one, buddy?
So, before this whole thing with Hobbs, I was not a fan of QT Marshall. I didn't think really anything of him. But you know what? As a manager, he's doing pretty well. I think, this is actually working well with Hobbs, and Hobbs doing his heel thing with his size and just being able to be a natural bully the way that he should be playing his character. This is going to go well. And I liked seeing Hobbs walk out the last second just saying keep your promise type of thing. I can't remember the exact wording, but it was we'll see, keep your promise.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. We'll just have to see what happens next week. I'm not sure what exactly the angle is it's getting set up. Maybe, Mark, you've got some insight here after all of your experience, but we'll just have to see next week. What do you think, Rock?
I couldn't agree more. I had QT Marshall does nothing for me in the ring. On the mic, he's good. And now as the manager role, he's filling it pretty well. I'm liking everything they're doing with Hobbs right now. I think they're giving us a slow burn because I think when the first Collision show I think we were almost all in unison that, or at least agreeing that we wanted Hobbs to win the Owen Hart tournament, and that'd be the perfect platform for him. But I think with Starks being, them being former partners, and Starks being a little bit more better on the mic, better in the ring, it's his time, and Hobbs is getting the slow burn, which I'm okay with. As long as they don't delegate him to a bunch of squash matches and they give him a good rival, a good storyline, then, I'm okay with the slow burn for him.
Yeah. Don't bury him. Yeah. Keep that light going. Guys, we have the House of Black, which I love, but they got jabronis from parts unknown going in. So it is your relative squash match. So Rocky, you go, please.
I love the House of Black too. I love their entrance. I love their look. Love the gimmick. Why are these guys getting squash matches? Did Are they just trying to put some, like, I know they're paying these guys, so like, let's get them on the show. They need to earn their paycheck this week. But everybody else is wrapped up in storylines, so let's hire somebody from here from Canada who's in training, and put them out there. Filler time, build up a little anticipation for the main event, I think. But, I mean, other than that, it's just, honestly, yeah, it was a nothing. This was actually my lunchable break. My bathroom break. So, yeah, I heard it in the background. So, like, I've watched so much wrestling now, and my girlfriend trips out on the fact, cause like, for example, I'll be in the kitchen cooking and we're whatever Raw, SmackDown's on. And she's like, you're missing it. And I'm like, no, baby, I don't have to see it to know what's going on. I can infer from the commentary what's going on in the ring. Like I can picture it in my head. So as this match was going on, that's what I was doing. But you know what's going to happen with the squash match. 2 or 3 minutes, 4 minutes tops, and these guys are over. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you, man. So I don't know what it is with Collision squash matches. I feel like we've had one every single Collision episode so far. And I don't hate a squash occasionally, but man, this is it's becoming a running theme here. And I don't know if it's specifically to do with House of Black or what, but it just feels too common now. During the match, I saw some awkward selling from whoever that dude was with the blue hair jabroni, I guess we can call him. But, the one good thing that happened throughout it was Andrade's entrance coming down the ramp, wanting to get his mask back. I was very happy to see that. It's not really a heel move or anything. He's just wanting to get what's his. And I like that this feud is, going to go a little further, but yeah, once again, I'm not really sure why they were having this tag match in the first place. Who are these two random guys just pulled out of Calgary and just, hey, you want to make a few quick bucks?
Yeah. Jabroni 1, Jabroni 2, but, Rocky, you kind of described something that I wanted to hit on, and I've tried to explain this to a younger crowd, my kids' crowd or something like this, and you kind of explained it a little different. When I grew up, I could listen to a baseball game on AM radio, and I knew by the announcer what was going on. I could visualize it in my head, and like you just said, you can hear the announcers. You know what's happening. You know it's about and it's practically the same thing. It's just you explained it a little bit better than I've been able to do. So, you understand what I'm saying there, Rod?
Absolutely, and that's how it comes across. My mind. It's like we, as wrestling fans, as being passionate about wrestling and doing the podcast and everything that we do, love we have for wrestling. It's a vicious circle. It's wrestling every week. It's storylines every week. It's, guys chasing titles, guys cheating to keep their title. It's the same movie, but with different characters, every week from month to month, from year to year. We watch wrestling, we dissect the wrestling, then we talk about it. Then the new week starts, then we do it again. So that's just our lives, and that's okay, because somebody has to educate the younger generations. Mav, for your age, you have so many concepts in your head. Like, I don't know anybody your age that understands wrestling the way I do. And from the few times that we've talked, I know you get it. From the long list of all the topics that you sent Michael after the first Wrestle Magic show, I know you get it. That's what makes this little combo that we do here easy. That's why the first Collision show that we did went so smooth. It's because you get it. And like I said, I don't have many people that get it. I got a few buddies from high school that I still keep in contact with on social media. They get it. You guys get it. And like I said, when I don't have to hear it. I don't have to see it, to visualize it. So I totally understand what you're saying, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a lost art. So anyway, guys, tune in next week and we'll give old guys lessons on wrestling. But anyway, we'll go straight into the surprise match for me for the night. All right, I admit I was surprised in this one, so I'm not going to give anything away. We got Ricky Starks and Mr. CM Punk going for the Owen Hart Tournament Championship. And look, we'll start it off with Maverick this time. Maverick, how did that look across the pond, my friend?
So the match itself was pretty enjoyable. Like CM Punk, he's still doing pretty well in the ring. Starks, he came out and he performed pretty well. It felt like there was some good exchanges in the beginning with the striking and just the minor grappling that was going on. You see them both just going back and forth and showing that it's somewhat of an even match at the time. Throughout the whole match, I kept hearing the crowd was booing Punk. That kind of surprised me. I haven't expected that really. I didn't think he came out and said anything about Canada or whatever. And then,
Yep.
It just kind of confused me with certain things like that. And then, afterwards, it kind of seemed like Starks, I don't know if that was considered like heel turn kind of moment or what, but after the match is over, he goes over to Jushin Thunder Liger, who is a wrestling legend, especially in Japan. He's highly respected, and just takes the cup and runs, and Liger looks confused, just, hey, what the heck, man? And yeah, what did you think, Rocky?
Yeah, that was a weird moment at the end for me too. I didn't think it'd be a heel turn. I didn't know what to think of it. But for what it's worth, Punk does mention that tonight we're going to find out if Starks is going to sink or swim. And I think that's for something very similar to something that Edge actually said about Grayson Waller in one of the past few promos. But on the first episode we were talking about, again, how Collision was going to be a showcase, extra time for guys who weren't getting the time to showcase. This felt like a final to me of a tournament. They gave the guys enough time. There was enough back and forth. Both guys looked creditable. Ricky Starks is going to benefit from this cup win and benefit from the time that he had in this match. There was a pretty big response for Punk in Calgary as they were chanting his name pretty loud after his music cut off. But like you said, Maverick, you could hear those boos in there. And I don't know if that's the older crowd who's followed him and is tired of him, or if that's the younger crowd that's just behind Starks. I don't want to say he's nowhere near the level of halvesies where half the crowd hates him and half the crowd loves him, as to the point where John Cena got, but he might be getting there pretty soon because I know he's stepping on toes and pushing a lot of buttons backstage. But there was a sign that I caught in the crowd. It said, crying man child feel. I don't know if either one of you two saw that. You saw that?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay. Yeah, so like I said, solid match, great showing for Starks. The roll up did kind of confuse me, because it's the face versus face in this match. The referee made it look like he saw it, but then he just went along with it. So that was kind of strange to me as well. And then the run up to the ramp and then grabbing it and going. I guess we'll have to see how this unfolds. If they're going to acknowledge, I'm sure Punk is going to acknowledge the rope grab. But I'm really interested to see Ricky Stark's response to it. So once we get that, then I think at that time I'll have a full understanding of why they did what they did. And like right now, my feelings are indifferent about the finish. Mark, how'd you feel?
All right. I've been chomping. I've been chomping at the bit. First of all, did we not see the crowd kind of also do the same thing during the FTR match? Where, usually the crowd's firmly behind FTR and they kind of, they kind of turned a little bit on them a little bit in the match. And if you were waiting, and sometimes you always hear about some of these older writers and promoters, they always say you have to listen to the crowd, feel the crowd. And if they were ever waiting on a chance to have a heel turn for CM Punk, is this not the heel turn? He comes out next week. He's mad about the hand. He's complaining. He jump starts. All kinds of things they could do. I don't know. I'm just saying, if they were going to do it, this would be the time to do it. And as far as the match was good. Always, you're going to get a good match out of this. And we'll throw a stat out that I actually heard. They said something about Starks had beaten 5 world champs, so this would make it 6. So that's a building point So they're giving Starks the push. And I think he can handle it. But the crowd, I'm just wondering, because I've seen these guys go, look, we've been waiting for this. We were going to do it in 2 weeks, but listen to this crowd. And, and it could set something up. Just my opinion. I mean, what do you think, guys? What do you think? Would that not be a good time for him? I mean,
It's perfect time, honestly. I mean, now you can set up pretty much anything you want. Tournament's over. Heck, why not? And Starks, I mean, he's still young in his career. It makes sense for him to have got this win. For Punk, it's a little bit too late. It doesn't really need it. He's got the name for himself. He's got all those world championships under his belt. He's still got that championship in that red bag that I'm sure he might tote around soon, especially if he goes on a heel turn. He just carries it around and says, oh, I never lost this and whatever else. So I think it is perfect time. Rocky, what do you think?
I have a question. What does the winner of this tournament actually get? Is it just the pride? Is there a title shot coming or what?
The belt in the cup, and Miss Martha White came out and said that you did good.
So he doesn't get like an actual future title shot. He gets to take that pink belt and go hang it up in his trophy case at home?
His belt's not pink. Now, wait, I don't think his belt was pink.
Was it? Okay.
It's similar to a King of the Ring style tournament, in my opinion. Okay. It's like, hey, congratulations, you did great, but here's your crown. Go have fun, kid.
But you don't have to do the British accent, I hope. You remember Booker T after he won the King? Oh, he had to do the British accent for a while. So hopefully they don't do that.
I love King Booker. I have an autographed picture, 8x10, of King Booker.
King Booker.
Yeah, Booker T signed it for me back in 2006. So he has Reality of Wrestling here in Houston. That's his little independent here. Back in 2006, it was called PWA, which was Pro Wrestling Alliance. And it was here, and so the southeast side of town where I'm at. And where I was working at, one of my managers was dating his promoter. So I got to pass out the flyers for him, and they would give me tickets. And then when they would have stars come in, because this was at the time that he was with TNA, he was bringing over guys like Abyss, RVD, Bobby Roode for little house shows, and I would get access stage, at least to skip the lines to get the autographs. And Booker T gave me that 8x10 King Booker autograph picture.
There you insight you cannot get anywhere else.
Yeah, I love King Booker.
Cool, man.
He even carried the accent over into TNA with the Main Event Mafia for a bit. Yeah. If you guys remember that.
Well, man, normally this would be where we're all getting ready to get all fuzzy and nice, get all, we're about done. But wait a minute. I got to flip the book because we got another page. We got another page, guys. With the Stampede Rodeo there and everything going on and the bad weather, I can see how convenient these wrestling shows would have been because they can't be outside spending their money. So why not send them into their sponsored event where they're getting money because they got a percentage off of that, the Stampede shirts. And then, of course, the Owen Hart Foundation got their percentage off their shirts. So kind of a win-win. But, guys, we got the Battle of the Belts. As far as starting this out, something maybe once a month or however they're going to do it, I kind of like it. What do you think? We'll start off across the pond again there. What did you think, Matt?
So I enjoyed throwing in this extra hour. I think it's going to be beneficial if they were to do it like once a month or so. Just to keep it in mind and everything. I don't know how well it would work with, fighting for that, TV time, but I would personally enjoy it because, I just use Fight TV, so I can see it whenever. I'm not really seeing any other channels or any other lineup, so this works fine for me. But, something I did notice at the very beginning of, Battle of the Belts as soon as it started and when I had to switch over, so CM Punk walks over to somebody in the crowd, kind of taps him on the shoulder, and he starts asking him hey, you saw the rope grab and everything too, right? I saw something online, I think it was this morning about it as well, and it had said, that person who he was talking to is actually a living relative of the late, Chris Benoit. Not really sure how true it is, but that would be very interesting if it was. I think it said it was his living son of some sort. I'm not sure.
But his son is a wrestler.
David?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that I did not see that. Did you see that, Rock?
I saw the article a little while ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was hugging David Benoit, and then the fan next to him was giving Punk the double bird.
I'll have to look this up then.
Yeah.
Oh man, well thank you, Maverick. I'm glad you did bring it back up, and that's the whole thing about doing these shows the way we do it. There's a few of us that are a little older and maybe forgetful, and all of a sudden something will come to us, and there's no script on the shows, so we just talk. We just bring up.
And actually, I have an answer here for the Battle of the Belts. It's done quarterly, so we get 4 times a year. So we'll have one more in the last quarter of the year, which will make a Battle of the Belts 8. So 4 times a year, we're gonna have a 3-hour AEW Saturday night.
Okay, all right. Facts coming in. Guys, the first match. Okay, all right, I'm just going to say it's Orange Cassidy against Lance Archer with Jake the Snake. Looking as dapper as he could. Oh, shit. Rocky, please, go ahead.
I think you mean pockets versus braids. I have nothing for this All-Atlantic title, now named the International title. All I can think about is the Intercontinental title. I can't feel nothing more than this is just a ripoff of the IC title from WWE. They have the TNT title. That's based on the show being called Dynamite, correct? Not because they're on the network TNT. Is
Mm-hmm.
what? Okay, so the creation of this title, I guess because now they do have enough of roster, enough talent to battle over it. They do have a Collision now with 2 hours more to build up rivalries, but I got nothing for this title. I have no connection to it. I have no emotion for it. Archer, that dude's athletic. I respect. I've seen a lot of his work, especially during the pandemic era. That's when I started to see him a lot. Orange Cassidy, this guy's gimmick should not still be over for what he does. I get it. It's fun. It's cool. It's laid back. It's somewhat entertaining, with the pockets and the little kicks and stuff. I've seen it too much. There's not enough variation, but that guy's talented as well. Respect for both the guys. The only thing I have from this match is the DDT that was not sold on the outside by Archer, and with the DQ finish. I don't know. I don't have much for this match. What about you guys?
So this match, one thing that I noted in the beginning was Freshly Squeezed running in, sauntering in really slowly with the belt in his backpack, just kind of taking it out. Looking at that, I was thinking, is he kind of making fun of CM Punk here with the whole belt in the bag thing? I don't know. Just seeing it, I wasn't huge on really the whole match. Archer does a great tank. He is brutal in the ring, and I love it. I also kind of enjoyed seeing Orange Cassidy just picking up these security guards, stacking them on top of Archer, and then walking away from him for a little bit, trying to get a breather. I just enjoyed just the goofiness of it, really. But I don't know. The belt itself, I feel no attachment with. I don't really see it as a respected title. It's just kind of there. I'll give Orange Cassidy this. He does defend it a lot. He's a little bit more active than some of the WWE guys, Roman Reigns. But, also seeing Jake the Snake's involvement a little bit, like he set up Orange Cassidy like he was going to give him with the DDT, and the crowd started loving it as soon as they saw him. And this is one of the only count-out finishes I've ever kind of approved of, just because the way that it landed at the end of it. They're both fighting on the apron, and then Orange Cassidy throws him off, and then he gets to jump back in the ring real quick. It's not a great finish, but it was just sleazy enough that it kind of works for the character, and it kind of does benefit both sides because you're not seeing Archer, who's twice Orange Cassidy's size, getting pinned in the ring, and you're seeing Orange Cassidy just finding a quick way out and being able to retain his belt. So it works, but it's just not the greatest thing ever. Mark, what did you think?
Real quick, so you're right, it was a count out. So Cassidy squeezed his way out of that into victory?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, guys. This could have been so much more. I did like the fact that Orange come out with aggression. He didn't come out with that little old stuff at the first. He come out firing, and he took the lead that he should have done. Smaller guy, bigger guy, tried to sleeper on him, everything he could. So this match did everything right. I don't think that they're using Lance Archer could be a beast. They could use him in a Bruiser Brody type role. He could run roughshod a little bit. Some of the bigger guys could have some good fights with him. And then when the younger or the smaller guy, the underdog, gets him and beats him, it makes a bigger story. But we'll never get that. We'll never get that.
Well, we know the guy can work because he was the New Japan U.S. champ. Yep. So he's done work over there. So like I said, this guy is very athletic for his size. Got the agility, you know.
Yeah, so. One of Cold's best friends. So back on a lot of those things. He's on a lot of the old shows with Stone. So with Steve. So he's you know, it could be so much better if they did that. But now I got to go into when I was growing up. One of the most live, when you went to see somebody live, to see Jake the Snake back in his day, he could work in the ring. He could use the mic. He had the snake. You never knew. And in the smaller territories, man, he was just freaking great. But to see the poor shell of that gentleman out there, and I know, and I'm glad to see that he's doing better. Apparently they said his lifestyle's a lot better. I just went and got a physical, and I ain't gonna say nothing about nobody, but anyway, I mean, just to see the shell of what that was, I did not kind of like that.
You know why he looks like a shell of himself? Dude needs to comb his hair, and he needs to dress better. He dresses like he doesn't have, doesn't have money or the access to a suit. Like if he dressed better, if he dressed the part, he wouldn't look like that shell.
Yeah, like he's walking around the mall in the afternoon. I mean, that's what he reminds me of right now. And man, just a wardrobe change. He can still talk somewhat on the mic. You don't have to give him the big things. Just, let him come up with something in his style and let him say it in that way. And a good announcer can work. There's just, I don't know. I could sit here and go on and on about that. And the count out, I guess you got to do it some kind of way because, to make it to look good, so. Okay. All right. So I just hate seeing something. It's kind of like going by, when I drive down the road and I see a beautiful classic car in a field that's rusting out. I just hate to see it. But it is what it is. So, we go into, the Acclaim. And do you think they're sucking up to Canada?
Still.
Please.
I missed this one, so Mav, take it all the way.
All right, so something I noticed as soon as the Acclaimed were coming into the ring, once again they're doing the rapping thing. I do kind of enjoy it at times when they make jokes about whoever they're up against. Like I believe they made some sort of joke against Karen Jarrett in that whole situation at one point, which I absolutely just died laughing at. But this time around, I heard one of the commentary guys saying, last time I scissored on air, I told my wife happy anniversary. I don't know, that just was a little bit on the line there of like, all right, you guys are pushing whatever limit you guys have for TV at the moment. And then Billy Gunn coming out and just saying, yeah, we're going to scissor all of you in the crowd tonight or whatever it was. Just, it's so goofy, man. I mean, it's a good promo. It's so goofy that it's great. It's fun enough for the crowd to get into it, but to take it seriously, nah. I did enjoy that they actually did have a serious challenge near the end of it, but they do know how to entertain the crowd just enough. Rocky, what do you think?
Like I said, I missed it, but based off what you just said, I can picture the guy's demeanor. I can picture their facials. I can picture, Mr. Ass Billy Gunn. I can picture all of it. So based on what you just told me, I felt like I just seen it in my head. So, these guys are always good.
We had a slip up in there too, Rock. Not a slip up. Billy Gunn mentions that, he loves him some cowgirls. And then he starts into it and then he goes, I used to like cowgirls.
Oh. Wow. Yeah, they're definitely pushing the limits there.
Oh yeah. And look, is it Max Caster, which one that has the big necklace on? He did give the necklace to some kid there. I'm sure it's something to do with the Hart Foundation, and he had it signed on the back and dated. So that was kind of a nice little, a little thing there, but,
a little salute to Brett with the glasses. And maybe that's something they should do more often. I always liked it when Brett, I loved it when Brett did it, of course, because I was a kid then. Yeah. John Cena would do it with his towel or the hat or something. And then these guys, they should do it all the time with the chain. They should have one and give it out.
That's perfect. That's exactly what that was, Rock. I believe that's actually what that was. His version, the glasses.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway. Oh yeah, and they're gonna go for the trios title. So that next week they're going for the trios title. So we get more of Mr. Ass. Can't wait. We've got a ladies title match with Toni Storm and Valkyria. And of course she's from Canada, so she's got to wear a cowboy hat. And Valkyria, does the lady remind you of a very nice, cleaned up, a little bit more elegant ODB?
Oh my God, I was literally just thinking that when you said that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, but yeah, a cleaned up version. Miss Morrison, I did not mean to, I'm not saying anything bad because I don't need Mr. Morrison jumping out of a pool with no water and coming after me. He jumps out of a pool and has no water on him. You gotta love it. Guys, who wants to take the lead on this one?
So man? I got a little bit on this one, not too much. Valkyrie, I'm still learning her. I've seen her in the ring a bit. Not too familiar with her. Toni, I've loved her since her NXT UK days. It's a shame how they treated her in WWE. I'm still, how do I say? She's still growing on me as a heel. I always liked her as the babyface more. But I do like the idea of her being a heel alongside Ruby and Paige, who, the name of the group Outcast is kind of reflects what happened with their career at WWE, and that's that they were kind of rejected in a way. So, this match was, again, a solid match. Again, Ruby, I don't know what is, maybe Ruby with this weekend, but the distraction for the finish of the match wasn't done well. Valkyrie spent too much time worried about Ruby on the outside when, Toni was behind her. It was like a second and a half too long. I don't know. It didn't work. But back to what you were saying earlier, Mav, about the new rules. The finish of the match was that snap power driver from Storm to Valkyrie. So I'm wondering, again, like how you said, when are the rules going to be fully implemented, or are there any repercussions to it, or is it just something that they're putting out there as a disclaimer? What do you got on it, Mav?
So this match itself, I didn't really get much from it just because, in the middle of it, everything glitched out. So I didn't even get to see the end of it. The beginning, I wrote down that, Ruby and Toni, they're doing pretty good heel work. Ruby does really great as a heel. Toni, I do agree. She really should just have stayed as a babyface. But them calling, all the fans idiots and stuff, it works. It's getting them to boo them and everything. During this match, as I was watching, I was enjoying it, and I started thinking, going back to let's say 2004, 2005, women's matches have really evolved. Because I remember we had top matches were considered like Kelly, and it's like, God, this isn't anything.
Eva
It's
Marie.
Yeah, exactly. And it's evolved so much that I can actually sit and enjoy a women's match now. It's not just, the pee break match at this point. But, yeah, so the rest of my notes are really just the show is glitching. How did the match end? Still glitching.
I'm glad you caught the beginning of it because I only caught the end of it. So it just kind of works out.
Yeah,
Mark, what did you get during that?
The same here, video problem during the match. So, first of all, the match starts off pretty good. Sounds like it's going to be, or looks like it's going to be good. And then this happened. Okay. And then they go to a Julia Bambi, match about, 10 or 12 seconds. And then this happened. And then they go to Tony Khan out there with Martha Hart, Dr. Martha Hart, and they're doing the proper trophy and presentation for the Owen Hart tournament. And I thought it was classily done. I'm not sure what kind of a doctor Miss Hart is, because I was once called the Doctor of Love, but I don't think that counts. But anyway, so hopefully, I enjoyed it. I thought it was classically done, or classically done as far, what I mean. And, so good. I thought good. Did you guys get this?
I did. First time during Calgary, what better time to do this during Calgary Stampede? Especially more meaningful because it's only steps away from where everything began. Where Stu Hart launched Stampede Wrestling, where he launched many, many careers, including none other than Owen Hart. So, all the salutes during the match, the FTR ring gear, the CM Punk ring gear, all the little salutes to the Hart family was done very nice. All the little nuggets, Easter eggs that were left throughout this broadcast was done well. Matt, I'm sure you saw all the little salutes, but how did you feel about everything that was put together?
So I enjoyed seeing how much they were celebrating. Yeah, I think that's a good word to put it. They were celebrating the careers of those two brothers that really came up, and just the Hart family in general, I should really say, and how much they really contributed to this form of entertainment that we absolutely love today. I have to admit there was a couple of times where I kind of felt like they were still sucking up to Canada to an extent, but it wasn't done in a bad way. But the one thing that I noted during the trophy ceremony was Starks gave more respect to Dr. Hart than he did to Jushin Thunder Liger. And that still burns me a little bit, but, man, it's part of the business, I guess, part of the show.
Angle. There's an angle coming.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it. There's an angle coming because that is too, like you said, my friend, way too noticeable, the disrespect that he showed during that. But we do get another match, and the satellite stayed up. We get the Perfect 10, Sean Spears going against Luchasaurus, with Christian Cage carrying the belt out, and Sean Spears with some really cool contacts apparently. So
yeah, he's back to his contacts. You got Dinosaurs versus the Perfect 10, Spears.
Yeah,
this match for me, it kind of still feels all about Christian. I know he's there as a mentor, he's carrying the title. I love it. I really do. I've always loved Christian. Spears, I've always liked him too, especially since NXT. I was sad to see him leave. I thought he did really well in the Pinnacle with MJF, a couple years back, and I know he's battling some injuries. I kind of expected him to be a champion already, maybe not AEW champion, but expect him to be up there. But I know he's battling back. This match was okay for me. Not a barn burner. I don't know if he should have finished the show. There's something about Christian when he took off his jacket. He's wearing that sleeveless turtleneck. Just made him look like the most obnoxious Canadian, just literally in the country. I got a real good kick out of that. This guy's just, again, this guy's doing career work now as a manager role, mentor. He's taking a kind of backseat to the in-ring stuff, maybe preserve his body. What you guys have on it? Mark, you want to take this one first?
Man, I'll go and what about Scorpio Sky? They had a little Scorpio Sky sighting up in there, so they're building that angle. I really thought Spears did his best work when he was going over the top rope and Luchasaurus catches him, and he sold it so good. It looked really good. And then the match goes, accordingly. You think Luchasaurus is about to win it. You get a couple of good little kick outs. So kind of made Mr. Spears look okay. And of course, Christian Cage hollering on the outside, it's our title. It's my title. It's my title. and ordering them around. I think Christian's doing some of the best work he's probably done. He's perfect for that. And yes, that when they tore his jacket off, the dicky, he had the dicky.
That's what it's called.
It looked like it. I swear it looked like the world's largest dicky who just pushed it into his pants. I don't know. Maverick, please help me, please.
All right, so I kind of enjoyed that they're kind of slowly pushing Scorpio Sky into this. It's not a full-on, okay, he's going to be ringside. No, he's just backstage watching. He's eyeing up Luchasaurus the whole time, or as I keep writing them down, as Lucha Cage at this point, since they, share the title. So I kind of felt like the match's end was a little bit anticlimactic. I don't know, seeing that chair spot in the corner where Luchasaurus speared into it, and then, Spears tried to go for the pin, and then the whole match ends on, what was it, like a lariat of some sort? I don't know, it just didn't feel right to me. There was also one table spot that had bothered me. It was where Luchasaurus put Spears over the top of the wall, and there was some sort of announcer's table on the other side of it. I don't know, it just kind of fell flat to me. It didn't hit right like a usual table spot does, and I enjoyed the match overall, but for some reason it just didn't look right with those couple of moments. The match end just kind of felt anticlimactic, but I do just love seeing Christian come running in with his title that he's so happy that Luchasaurus earned for him. I don't know, it just kind of seems like he's so proud of the prize that just isn't quite his, but he's going to claim it anyways.
That table spot kind of threw me off. I think it was the camera angle. You're right. It didn't feel, it just felt like out of whack, just out of bounds. Didn't feel right. And then the setup with the chair. I don't know, Christian kind of wedged it in there. He didn't get it in there enough. And then the reversal to get Lucha to smash into it seemed a step off. I felt like he should have countered that chair hit with his finisher, with the C4. And then, yeah, you're right. The ending didn't, it just, I don't know, but Christian setting up the chair and then Lucha going into it, I kind of felt like might be the start of that. If they're going to like break off, that's like the very beginning. Lucha might complain about him putting the chair in the wrong spot or whatever the reason is. That might start some of the tension there between them. Because eventually we know that Lucha's going to turn face. Either Christian's going to turn on him to get the title, or Lucha's going to turn on Christian, but in turn make himself a babyface. Kind of like how I felt Shayna Baszler did with Ronda Rousey this past few weeks when she turned. So we'll just kind of see how that plays out. Mark?
Man, I couldn't agree with you guys anymore. Definitely everything was good and on this one except for the ending and but it was still entertaining and it was okay. But overall we have seen 3 hours of wrestling on this night and if we were going to give it a grade, I'm going to maybe say C plus, B minus, because it all hinges on that 58-minute match we got earlier. I think that was the best we saw. But guys, what did you?
So the first hour was an A. The second hour was a B, and the third hour was a C for me.
We got average.
Yeah, I'm going to agree there. I'm going to say that overall this show was, I'm going to say a B minus because the technical difficulties is what really sold it into the minus for me. If it weren't for that, it may have been a solid B because, half of that match just didn't happen. We didn't get to see it. So to me, it's like, okay, part of the show just doesn't exist. So I don't know. It could have been great. Yeah, exactly. So it could have been great. Could have been absolutely horrible. I don't know. It's just, blank space.
Yeah, we'll only know what YouTube shows us. And that's about it on that one. But Rocky, I tell you what, why don't you walk us out of here? I'll end us up here and we will we'll slowly end, this, can I say collision? Can I say, this get together we've had tonight. Rocky, you started.
Well, that's kind of what it's going to be. It's going to seem like collisions because, like I said, last night I wasn't available when I thought I was going to be. Same goes for the last 2 weeks. Last minute things come up, and one day Michael's going to pop in here, or one day we're going to have a guest voice come on from the mailbag, potentially, and they're all of our thoughts are colliding, and that's from different generations. Mark, you're older than us. I'm in my 30s. Mav's in his 20s. We have multiple generations of thoughts and just colliding, and it's great because we each see things with our own eyes if the other one doesn't, and that's when we get together to talk about it. We can point out all those things, and we know there's a multitude of fans out there that think the way the same we do, and they see things or feel different ways about certain endings or finishes that we don't. So I'm glad to be back. I'm gonna try my best to come on every week. We got things stirring up for WrestleMagic, so you guys keep a lookout for that. Again, I can be reached at Rocky's Club 007 on Twitter, my dedicated page there. You guys can still go ad free on me through Patreon. Again, the instructions: follow me, send me a message, shout out on the mailbag, and the prize is still up there. Pay for the ad-free experience on Patreon. You guys can also go ad-free on Apple Podcast as well. I think that does it for me. Mav, you want to say some goodbyes there for us?
All right, so to close out, I want to just give a quick shout out to my buddy Brian Griffin for reaching out to me over at his new base. He always just hits me with inside jokes, so I'll just say the one that only he is going to understand on here, because he sent me pictures from a certain store that we always nicknamed Barney's and Nobly. So, yeah, you know what we're talking about, buddy. But yeah, thanks for always being a good friend. And if anybody wants to reach me, it's at Maintenance Mav on Twitter. Hit me up if you guys have any critiques for me. Yeah, just let me know how I'm doing. Also, if anybody wants to join in the show, just let me know. We could potentially work you guys into this. But yeah, so with that, do something nice for somebody out there. And with that, I'm out.
Real quick, one last thing. Again, to the listeners, if you want to get your voice on, but if you don't want to get your voice on, you can still get your thoughts in. If there's a topic that people are not talking about that you want us to discuss, potentially for a WrestleMagic episode, that can be done. Just message me your thoughts, your ideas. We'll go back and forth. We'll hash something out, and we'll come up with a title and we'll format it. And me and the gardener will work on that, and we'll get it done. We're trying to get a couple episodes lined up so that we can make our show, a bi-monthly thing versus just once a month, which is what it's been lately. But we do so much compound research with our topics that it takes weeks to get the format settled. For all the segues and the things that we want to discuss, because there's so much. I mean, we're talking about decades of wrestling history that we're trying to cover on some of these topics. So if you don't want to get your voice on, get your thoughts in, and we can turn it into an episode for you. Mark, close us out, buddy.
Well, all right, guys. Once again, this is Memphis Mark with my gang of buddies here. To Rocky, to Maverick, I thank you so much, and to the gardener, Michael Gross. Hurry up and get that IRL stuff taken care of so you can come in here and drop some knowledge. Guys, other than that, everybody knows the NXT review show. definitely check us out. Memphis Mark for you on Twitter. And other than that, I'm going to end it out and say that if you can rescue, please do spay and neuter. And as always, this is Memphis Mark, and I'm out.
All right, super solid, guys. I will save this right now. I'm going to take a little restroom break, and then I'll work on editing it. Should have it to Matt by the end of the night, and I'm sure he'll post it tomorrow, which will be just in line either right before or right after the current state that he does with Anthony. And then I will keep you guys
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.